More now on today's census results, which reveal more than a third of people living in the capital were born outside the UK. That's far higher than the rest of the country. Also now, fewer than half of Londoners consider themselves to be of white British origin. The data shows how the population has changed over the past decade. Well, Mark Ashdown has been looking at the results and is here with more details. Over to you, Mark.
Well, London has seen unprecedented growth over the past 10 years. 850,000 more people now live in the capital, giving a total population of about 8.2 million. But the interesting thing here is the diversity, the change in the makeup of London. 10 years ago, 60% of those living here classed themselves as white British. Now that figure is 45%, a huge drop, and below half of the population for the first time ever. And 1 in 3 people now living in London were actually born abroad. Indian and Polish communities have grown significantly. They are the two most common foreign countries of birth, and more live in London than anywhere else. In 5 boroughs, Tower Hamlets, Harrow, Brent, Ealing and Newham, the white British population is less than 31%. Nowhere in the country is it so low.
It means that in terms of policy, provision of services, sometimes different decisions have to be made. It also means that the authorities in London, both the local authorities and indeed the government, need to be conscious of things like language, of different religion, of different ethnic groups. And of course, when you have lots of people, you also need to think about provision of healthcare services and provision of transport.
And of course housing. Around a quarter of people in London now rent, compared with just 15% nationally. The figures suggest much of it is overcrowded too. The same could be said for public transport and the roads. Even so, Londoners rate themselves among the healthiest. Bang on 50%, or 4.1 million people, say they have very good health. And religion is, as always, likely to be a big talking point. Christianity is still the dominant religion, but whereas back in 2001, some 58% of London residents gave it as their faith, that figure now is 48%, so a drop. The Muslim faith, however, is growing. A decade ago, 8.5% of London's population was Muslim. Now it's grown to 12.4%. And more people than ever, some 21%, said they had no religious faith at all. Now, some have questioned how relevant and accurate this census is, but the ONS say they had an 80% response rate in every single local authority, so they believe the findings will be hugely valuable for policymakers. Riz.
OK, Mark, thanks very much.